on some of the last slides, I did not say much. Just want to emphasize one important thought of mine. Education is under so much pressure, where in some countries people might lose track. Sometimes we confuse the mission of education and where education should go and what is expected of education. Now, for example, a minute ago, we just mentioned maybe the apprenticeship can be adopted in the Philippines. Now remember, you cannot take an experience somewhere and you think it would work somewhere else. Because one simple experience is part of a whole system that supports one another. Each system supports another. So one subsystem in some country may not fit well in another system. So you have to think exactly what you want to do and what you want out of your education system. Now, a while ago, we were discussing the issue of the 2-year senior secondary schools in the Philippines. And I know there is a big debate is going on deciding what these 2 years should look like. What do you want to do with 2 kids coming out of 10 years school or 10th grade? This debate might take long and might be short. It might take long when it's open for the whole country to debate it, where everybody gets confused. And it might take no time when the government decides we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everybody listens, which is the case in many countries. Now again, I want us to emphasize that subsystems somewhere may not work somewhere else. Now we know, maybe some people don't know, that there is, for example, in the US, there is 2 kinds of high school. Actually 3. There is the normal high school, which I call it soft high school. That means the kid gets into 11th grade, 12th grade, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gets out. And there is the high school. The high school. That means the high school that takes you to university. That's a choice kids are given to make and their families to make. But that works in the US. If you bring it here, you will have a problem. All your kids will be doing soft high school. Then they will go to nowhere. You know what is soft high school? That means basic science, basic math, fluid everything. So you have a fluid graduate. Well, in the US it works. You know why? Because they have the community college system. In the community college system, it's 2 years, where you can take 60 credit hours, they call them transferable, to state universities. Now, state universities tells you, if you want to come, I want you to take of these 60 credit hours this. And you know what is this means? It's the high school. It's the high school. Now, the high school, in simple terms, is an Indian coming from India with an Indian National High School diploma. Just simple. It's the government public school system. There's this lady, she lives somewhere in India, she goes to public school, so she has to do the Indian high school diploma, with the national examination. Now, if she scores 90 out of 100, she applies to Harvard. She's accepted in the School of Engineering, for example. Simple. That's it. In the US, if you want to go to study in the universities directly, you do the high school diploma. That means you take advanced math, advanced physics, advanced biology, advanced chemistry. And you take writing, and you take grammar, which is the high school in Dubai. It's the same. The high school in Yemen, it's the same. In Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, it's the same. That's where the kids come from. But they don't have choice. They don't have soft high schools. So if you finish 10th grade, you go do high school. Now, what's your high school? It could be 3 tracks. One track, vocational education, secondary high school. Science track, and social sciences or liberal arts track. Now, the science track qualifies you for all university faculties. So you can study whatever you want, dependent on your grades. If your grades very, very high, you can apply to medical school. If you don't like to go to medical school, but your grade qualifies you there, you can go to wherever you want. You maybe want to be an accountant. If you're from the social sciences, liberal arts track, that means you go to half of the university faculties. That is none of the engineering schools, none of the medical schools, none of the science schools. That's it. Simple. That's why when the debate becomes complicated, a decision has to be made. And decision has to be made based on realization of what you really want and what's around you and what's in the outside world. So if you choose to do a high school that universities abroad would not take it, you have to be aware of that. And you have to make the people aware of this. But don't think you'll do them good because you decided this is what's good for them. Now, this is something I became to know very recently, which is like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, which I've never known before. Now, in British universities, in Australian universities, they invented something called foundation year. And it's mainly for whom? Mainly is for Asians, because they have money. These foundation years in some universities might cost you $30,000 to $50,000, which supposedly to qualify you to apply to normal college in any university, normal faculty, which you may not be accepted in it, after all. So you're doing actually a second high school with a greater cost, but still may not guarantee admission. And this is where the national decision has to come to a point where it has to be made with regards to high school and what's the content of your high school should look like. What courses should be in the high school? There you have. Now, definitely, universities have not changed. We think we are changing the school system for the best, but universities, by the way, have not changed. They're still traditional in their admission requirements. They want you to have all the core subject matters in advanced level. That means you come to them, you have advanced biology, advanced physics, advanced chemistry, geometry, algebra, calculus. That's what they expect you to have. They're not interested in civic education, democracy, peace education. For them, that's not their of admission requirements.